previous session, we have discussed about how to take a data, how to take a single piece of data from Excel sheet. How to get a single piece of data from Excel sheet. Let me go to this. Now it will go to our sheet file where it will go under D drive under classes. Patch 278. Under this, I went to this data folder. Then I have fetched the file. Then I went to that particular workbook. Under that workbook, there are many. Under that row, there are many sheets. There are many sheets. Under that sheet, there is a particular row called row 1. Under that row 1, I need to go to a particular cell called cell 0. And I want to get. Yeah. Oh, again I have sent you that only. Oh, by mistake I did it. I will send it today, please. Okay. I need to get this admin value. How to get this admin value? I have written the program. Okay. Now, in this program, I have one class called Excel library. I have one class called Excel library. Under this class, is one main method. I have created another program here. I just created another program. Right click, go to class and created a new program that is login logout. Okay. Now, what I am going to do here, listen carefully. This is no more main method. This is no more main method. Public void get Excel data. Get Excel data. Okay. I need to call this get Excel data method which is there inside this Excel library. How to call the get Excel data method which is there inside the Excel library? Can you tell me how to call that method? How to call the method called get Excel data method which is there inside the Excel library? Can you tell me? No answers. Main class. Is there any class called main? Which class? Uh, Create an object for Excel library. There Excel library xlib equal to new Excel library. Okay, Nikki, just wait for 2 minutes, Nikki. Let others answer. Akansha, can you tell me how to call the method called Excel library method, get Excel data method? Akansha, you there? Tell me. Uh, how to call that? Can you tell the code here? Xlib dot name of that method. What is that? Get Excel data. See, now when I run this, what happens? It will directly go to the folder, fetch the file, then it will go to this particular workbook sheet row cell 1 comma 0. Then it will print this. Let me run this program. Now if I run this program, what will be the output of this program? What could be the output of this program if I run? Admin. Let me run this and check it. Guys, if I am fast, tell me, sir. After finishing the complete class, don't tell that, sir, you are fast. Then it's your mistake if you are doing that. I have got admin value. Have you understood up to here, everyone? Yes. Does this method takes anything? Does this get Excel data method? Does it takes anything? No. String, sheet name, integer, row number, integer, cell number. String, sheet name, integer, row number, integer, cell number. Integer, row number, integer, cell number. Integer, row number, integer, cell number. Okay. Now, whatever the sheet name, whenever you are calling, you will pass that sheet name. That sheet name will be passed here. Row number, which is passed here. Cell number should be passed here. Yes. Java Selenium we have. I said. Yeah, that is what I said. Python we didn't start it. No, not yet decided because there is no student. Only you are there. For that. No others are there. Everyone are interested for Java Selenium. Once we get two or three more students, we'll start. I will inform you. Okay. Now, whenever I call, I have to give the sheet name, row number, and cell number. See, whenever I am calling this method, it clearly shows. Get Excel data method. It takes a string sheet name. It takes a string sheet name, integer row number, integer cell number. It takes a string sheet name, integer row number, integer cell number. Get Excel data. It takes a string sheet name, integer row number, integer cell number. Okay. I have to pass the sheet name that is in the form of string. What is that? Sheet 1. What is the row number? Row number is cell number to get the admin value 0. If I run this, what happens? It will directly go here. Sheet name, sheet 1 is passed here, row number 1 and cell number. Those things will be passed. And if I run this program, what it will print? If I run this program, what it will print, guys? Admin. I have just passed inputs to that method. I have just passed inputs to that method. Have you understood this, everyone? Yes. Now, does this method returns anything? Is this method is returning anything, guys? No. This method is going to return a string. This method is going to return a string. Initially, ret value will be null. Okay. When it comes up to this particular moment, ret val, ret val, return ret val. Return ret val. See, whenever you are returning something, directly I can write it string here also. String ret val, I can remove this. That's not an issue at all. I can do this also. The error will go away. But that's not the procedure to return. Whenever we return something, first initialize, assign, return, return. These three steps we have to follow. What happens when this loop gets repeated again, right? Second time when it is getting, when this program runs, this return value become null. If there is some wrong inside this, at least it will print as null. If you are not initializing this, the previous value will get printed. That's why this is a stored procedure what we have to follow whenever we return anything. First initialize, assign and return. This we have to follow. Okay. Now whenever I call this getExcelData method, you can see this clearly. Whenever I call this getExcelData method, it takes a string sheet name, integer row number, integer cell number. It takes a string sheet name, integer row number, integer cell number, and it returns a string un, and it returns a string un. Have you understood this, guys? Whatever I did here now? Yes or no? No one is answering. Okay, leave about that. That you no need to worry about that. Three things what you have to remember whenever you are going to return. Okay, initialize, assign, and return. These three things what you have to follow when you are returning something. When I said about the return keyword in Java, I didn't tell you that. Now I am telling you. I didn't tell you this initialize part. Initialize, you have to initialize it. That's the rule. Okay? Okay. Others, have you understood? I cannot keep on shouting, understood, understood, understood. Try to answer, guys. I will see. I will reply only for Nikki, Akansha, Suma. Only for these three people I will reply after the course also. For others I will give very less reply. I am not seeing any partial. If you are not replying for me, why I have to reply for you? I am not asking any questions. I am asking you whether you have understood or not. Even for that itself you are not answering. Now how to? Now I need to get this manager. Sorry, not man. I need to get this manager. In that case, how can I get that manager here? How to call this getExcelData method? Sheet 1 1. Can I type sheet 1 1? Will you get? I asked how to call that method. Get cell. Get cell do I want to give? Very, very worst really. How to call the getExcelData method I am asking. Who is that who is telling cell? I don't know. Xlib dot getExcelData. Xlib dot getExcelData. It takes a string, sheet name, integer row number, integer cell number, and it is going to return a string. String name is sheet 1, sheet name is sheet 1, row number 1, and cell number 1. And this returns a string, pw. System.out.println pw. String sheet name, integer row number, integer cell number. String sheet name, integer row number, integer cell number. In that case, now if I run this, it will print both admin and manager. It will print both admin and manager. Whatever the values it is there, it is printing. Now what I am going to do, I am going to get this particular username is akanksha.barwal@gmail.com and password is akanksha. This is the username and password. Now if I run this, it will print this Gmail and akanksha. That is what it is going to print. Let me run this. Have you understood this, everyone, what I did here? Yes. Now what I am going to do here is I am going to log in into this application. I am going to log in into this application. How to log in into this application? Log in and log out. First open the browser, maximize the browser, open the URL. Instead of this, I can pause this. Sure. Sure. Oh, link, not that link. Okay. Now if I run this, it will log in and it will log out also. It will log in and then it will log out. But instead of this akansha.banwal@gmail.com, what I can give? Instead of this, what I can give? UN. Very good. Instead of this, I can give as UN. Remove this and pass as UN. Instead of this Akasha, what I can give? PW. 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 Yeah. Wait for some more time. We'll teach that also. Now it will take this username password and click login and it will log out. See, opens the browser, maximize the browser, open the URL, then enter username password, click on login. After that, wait for 20 seconds. And after 20 seconds only, it has to click on logout. It will go. Just now, about 20 seconds is going to be done. Now it will click on this logout. Done. Logout. Yes. Now I don't want to print this anymore. I don't want to print this anymore. Yes. 1,1. Okay, now it will enter username password. I have one username and password in my Excel sheet. Okay, you can log in with one more username also called trainee. Trainee. Click on login. After logging in, I need to click on logout. I need to click on logout. After logging in, I need to click on logout. After logging in, I need to click on logout. Okay, I can enter username pass. I can log in with trainee also. With the enter username password. Trainee. Enter username password, please. Okay. Enter username and password. Enter username password. Click on login. Now I have four usernames and passwords. One is that Akansha at the gmail.com and Akanksha. One more is trainee. One more is Akansha at the gmail.com and Akanksha. The another one is trainee. I have four different usernames and passwords. What is the row number and cell number to get this Akansha at the gmail.com, Banwal at the gmail.com? 1 comma 0. Yes, very good. 1 0. What about this trainee? Who is that? 1 1. 2 comma 0. What about this male? 3 comma 0. What about this trainee? 1 comma 0. To get the different usernames, only the row number is getting varied. Only the row number is getting varied. And cell number remains constant. Only the row number is getting varied, cell number remains constant as it is. Only the row number getting varied, cell number remains constant. The same way to get the password also. What about this Akanksha? 1 comma 1. What about this trainee? 2 comma 1. What about this Akanksha? 3 comma 1. What about this trainee? 1 comma 1, 2 comma 1, 3 comma 1 and 4 comma 1. To get the password also, only the row number is getting varied. Cell number will be constant always. Okay. So that what I am going to do here, I am going to put this inside a for loop. For I equal to 0, I is less than or equal to 4, I is equal to 1, I plus plus, and I am going to put these lines of code inside this. It will iterate from 1 to 4. Instead of this 1, what I am going to give it as I. See, first what happens, it will open the browser, open the URL, it will come here. Then it will give first iteration I values. It will start with 1 comma 0 and 1 comma 1. 1 comma 0 and 1 comma 1 is nothing but this mail and Akansha is the password that it will take, and it will store in this username. It will log in, then it will log out. After logging out, again it will fall back to the logged out page. Again it will fall back to the logged out page, which means that it will go to the home page again. Then it will go with the second. I value will be 2. 2 comma 0 and 2 comma 0 is this, and 2 comma 1 is this. Trainee. Then it will take this username and password. It will log in. Then it will log out. The same way third, fourth cycle. When it comes to the fifth loop, will get exited. Are you understanding this, guys? What I have taught you now? Who is that? One more time asking. Have you practiced the for loop thoroughly, Suma? Earlier. It will username password. Click on login. Then log out. Then give trainee. It will give. It will log in and log out. It will do everything. Why it is not giving? Oh, it has logged in. Yeah, trainee. I have to wait for 10 seconds there. It has logged in and it will log out. Then it will take the third username and password. Nothing. The same thing I have implemented in a loop from 1 to 4 because I have 4 different usernames and passwords. And I have implemented that I value for different row values because only the row numbers are getting varied for both username and password. Have you understood this now? Suma? Yes. Okay. Now I have 4 different usernames. Tomorrow, imagine that if there are 10, if there are 10, 4 different usernames and passwords. Okay. Tomorrow, if there are 10, I have to change the number to 10. Is it good to change the number each and every time? No. Then that what I have to do? See here. Find what length? No, not length. I need to get the last row number. Last row number of the Excel sheet. So that what I am going to do here, come to the method here, right? Similarly to this method, I will copy this and I am pasting it here. I have copied and pasted. This method is not get Excel data method. This method name is get last row number is the method name. This method it takes a string, and it returns an integer. It takes a string and it returns an integer. Okay, yes dot get string cell value. Sorry, I came up to this particular sheet row cell. File input stream workbook sheet. Under that sheet, there is a method called get last row number. Get last row number. What does this get last row number method returns? It returns an integer. Since it returns an integer, that is nothing but ret val. Get string cell value. Okay. Now whenever I want the last row number, I will call this method. This method, it will take a sheet. It will go to this particular sheet. In that sheet, it will get the last row number and it will return that. That is what I will do. Now how can I call the get last row number method which is there inside this Excel library? There is a method called get last row number method which is there inside this Excel library. How to call that method? Can you tell me? For what I have to make it as make an object? Already it is there, right? Then tell me. Tell me the code. What I have to write? Xlib dot get last row number. Get last row number. Get last row number. Sheet name is sheet 1 and then it returns an integer last row. Instead of this 4, what I can put? Last row. Yes. Based on the last row, if there are 4, it will iterate for 4. If there are 5, it will iterate for 5. That is how what it will happen. Understood now, guys? Everyone? Yes. Yes. Now, before going to the next step, first and foremost, I want to tell you what does a framework contains. What does a framework contains? Framework contains either one class or multiple classes. Okay, before that, before telling about framework, is this get Excel data method is a reusable method? Can I reuse this many times? Yes. Whenever I want the data, I'll just call this method. This is a reusable method. What about get last row number method? Is it a reusable method? Yes or no, guys? No. Why no? If I want to get the last row number for another sheet, can't I use this? Then why it is not reusable? It's a reusable method. Okay. Is main method is a reusable method? No. I cannot reuse this. I cannot call this anywhere also, right? Can I call this anywhere? No. That's why this is not a reusable method. It is not a reusable method. Before going to the next step, see, what is meant by a framework? Framework contains either one class or multiple classes. Those classes will have only reusable methods. In that case, I can call that as a framework. I can call that as a framework. Is Excel library is a framework? Yes, because it has two methods, both the methods are reusable. Is login logout is a framework? No. No, it's not a framework. Excel library is a framework. It has two methods. Both these methods are used to deal with data. Both these methods are used to deal with data. That's why I call that is used to these two methods are used to drive the data. That's why I call this as data driven framework. Data driven framework. My data driven framework contains My data driven framework contains two classes. My data driven framework contains, sorry, not two classes. Sorry, wrong answer, guys. My data driven framework contains only one class. Login logout is not a framework. My data driven framework contains only one class. That class has two methods. One is get Excel data method and get last row number method. In interviews, you might get a question. In interviews, you might get a question telling that in interviews you might get a question in interviews you might get a question telling that asking how have you created any frameworks. You can tell that yes, I have created a framework. I have created a framework called data driven framework. My data driven framework contains only one class. That class has two methods. One is get Excel data method and get last row number method. Get Excel data method is used to take a sheet name, row number and cell number and it returns a string. Get last row number takes a string sheet name and it returns a integer. You can tell like that. Don't tell login logout as a framework. Okay. This is all about data driven framework. This is called as data driven framework. Okay. Have you understood, guys? Yes.